Hello and welcome to the Final Bell. It is great to have you with us for another week. We are proudly presented by GMHBA, the official health insurance partner of the Geelong Cats. I am joined, as I am every single week, by Meg McDonald. Hello, Meg.
G'day, Lingy. How you doing?
I'm very well. I think we're both very, very well after that particular game of football.
I mean, it's always nice to revisit like 5 days later. So it feels like a long time ago, and I went and watched the mini this morning. I was like, let's go back there just to freshen up.
So you're a professional. Well done. Because I worked at a couple of other games post the Thursday night game, and they didn't quite live up to the same standard as Thursday night. A little bit later on, Nina Morrison is going to join us. We're going to drag in one of your teammates.
Yep, a personal fave. She's flying, mate. We know she had her first BNF season last year, and stands to just go to another level, I'd say. But
it'll be great to chat with her. I know Nina keeps a very close eye on all football, but in particular what the men's team is doing too. So I'd love to get her thoughts on how the team is travelling.
She does, just on that. She, training gets put up on Huddle pretty much straight away, sends me highlighted clips, and I realise that the second clip she sends me is like from our defensive craft stuff at the end of training. I said, "You've gone to watch our divisional craft. How am I going?" And she's like, "Of course I did."
Love that.
Just for listeners, she's not in that craft. She's down the other end of the ground, but
perfect.
She's got an eye on it.
Just loves footy.
Yep,
Truly loves footy. Well, it'd be great to chat with her. We will get to your questions a little bit later on, and we will look ahead towards the Cats taking on the Eagles over in Perth at Optus Stadium. But do we have a little treat again this morning?
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah,
by popular demand. It's been a couple of weeks, but
Meg's Memo. It is a favourite of all of our listeners.
Straight to you from the Joel Selwood stand this week.
Is this a post-match Meg's Memo? Is this a pre-match? Is it a throughout the match?
Obviously, I've got little memory. As I've said, I kind of go into an altered state. Turn voice memo on, send it to Jake, never think about it again until this moment here. So, but from memory, not only is it a mid-game, there were plays where I just hit record and went live.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Good.
Okay, we've won it off half back, hit record. What's going to happen next?
Did you break into a little bit of commentary?
We'll see. I can't remember.
Okay.
No refined commentary.
Get it ready to go.
Hutto, you're not under threat yet. Don't you worry.
Okay, but you have been doing a little bit of commentary lately.
A bit of special comments.
Yes,
trying to explain to people
that.
the difference between special comments and calling the play. I'm like,
baby steps.
Baby steps.
Special comments into calling the game.
As you've said, you should have, could have, would have yourself, right?
That's right.
Yeah, well. All right. Okay.
Here we go. Meg's Memo.
This might
Don't.
kill that before it starts. All right. Here we go. Burns on a bit of me time, running off with Ollie there. Second quarter, just note that one for the vision. Just want to talk about how important off-field connection is to on-field performance, and I'm going to say 10 years of friendship's gone into Grant kicking that to Tommy Atkinson and going through the goals. So, guys, go for coffee. You know what I'm saying? Jezza, yes, initiate body contact. We love it. Another red time goal. No more red time goals. That's 3 from 3. You're only allowed to do it in the fourth quarter if we're 20 goals in front. Guys, what did I just say about red time goals? And we did another one that same quarter. Boys, we need to score again. We're only 8 minutes into the fourth quarter. Maybe just being like Ange. Shannon! Just had a Shannon! Come on, let's go. He's kicked 4. I didn't want to see time in forward half. And settle. Stewie, what a press. Take your 30. Shannon! That's got to be career best. Has he kicked it back? He's kicked handful before? Go on, Jez! Or stay in. Oh, no. Sorry, just a moment for Ted Closey taking responsibility for the bond with 3 minutes to go. That was an abrupt end.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Can I I love Meg's Memo. So this is not a critical thing. But you know that how we were saying maybe calling games. the barracking versus calling.
Okay.
No, I love it, Meg.
I join a long list of commentators who go for Geelong. Yes. It's well known.
No, I love that. You could hear the passion in your voice, and I sensed the ebbs and flows of your voice there. Obviously, early, quite positive and excited. Late, definitely excited
third
and barracking.
Quarter, I don't think we're going to win.
No, there was a drift in the third quarter. You're not happy with the red time goals that the opposition was kicking?
And then I remembered, I was like, they did kick one in the fourth, but we were far enough ahead. But the two late in the third, I was like, oh, boys, come on now.
And within the last minute, I reckon, not even, we call red time perhaps 4 or 5 minutes to go.
I guess so, yeah.
But it was under a minute.
Yeah.
Where I sit, where our seats are, we can see in sort of like a sideways view of the coach's box, and they've got a countdown clock in there. I
had that at the MCG the other day, and I was like, I'm going to get a sore neck. It was for the Collingwood game because I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, kept checking the count, the specific exact countdown clock, and looking, and there's 53 seconds to go. It'll be okay. And 2 goals later, I know, some really frustrated
and then the first one
feeling.
Of the fourth was within a minute as well.
So that's obviously that was the down point of the game. Was that particular quarter, and especially late there in that little phase. What I would say is Bulldogs are a good team. Bulldogs are a very, very good team. I walked out of that ground very, very happy with the way the Cats had played, but pretty confident in my beliefs that both those teams are top 4 quality teams. So the Dogs weren't going to just go meekly into the night when Geelong were up at half time. They were always going to come back at some stage, and they did. And, I think we had to there'll be learnings from it to handle it better.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of out of the memo were probably some waxing lyrical about the bond. I mean, I don't think any of their players, I haven't gone and checked the stats, but were as dominant as they'd been in past games. Their collective, and that's what makes a good team, isn't it? Their collective is impressive, but at the same time, I thought we probably put a bit of work into their threats. I don't think there was heaps of commentary on what Brad Close was able to do, but, on
Bailey Dale.
Bailey Dale was, he just coming off 49 disposals, and I think he was able to negate his impact. Tommy Atkins did a bit at stoppage with Libba. And, just across the ground. Oh, yeah. Had a go at Richards.
Ed Richards. And
he did play well.
Yeah, but for periods of the time, Osh did really well. I thought Oshin played him really well. And then you saw Ed Richards' quality to be able to break through it at times and have an impact as well himself. Yeah. So, and having done roles like that in the past, you need to understand that the reason you're getting that job on that particular player is because he's so damn good.
Yes.
And he's highly influential to the opposition team. You're not necessarily going to beat him for 120 minutes of the game. They are good. They are good for a reason, and they will break you the other way a little bit. And some learnings for Oshin about maybe positioning at stoppages. The way that Ed got back into the game was a certain way. So you take that, you grab it for next time, and you use it to hopefully keep him quieter for 5 minutes longer next time you play against him.
Mate, you're preaching to the choir. As a defender, you can feel like you are on top of someone, and then, how many Jeremy kick? I'm not saying he wasn't. Obviously, he was on top with the 6 goals. But they can kick 4 goals in 4 kicks, and you can feel like you've had them for the rest of the game. But
correct. Well, can we talk about that forward line, because that was one of the really exciting things. If we just look at raw numbers, is to think that together, so no Patrick Dangerfield in this game, together Jeremy Cameron and Shannon Neal kick 11 goals. Great. Jez has been on fire of late, obviously, and back moving so well and so dangerous. But for Shannon, who's probably working just as hard as he did on Thursday night's game in every other game, but without the flow on and the total reward for it, finally gets that little bit of good feelings of kicking 5 goals.
Yeah, and when I said I watched the mini back, I felt like it felt sort of back ended for Shannon at least, but they both contributed throughout the game. I think Jez kicked 4 of his 6 in the first half. Obviously, Shannon kicks the 2 late to seal it, but he had a couple in the first half as well, I think. So, yeah, their ability to work together and their combined athleticism seems like an enormous threat. The one that they combined on where Shannon celebrated with the crowd, like for Jez to get the ball in traffic in the middle of the field, and then I think it was probably like a 4v1 that he sort of kicked it to, but their understanding in there of each other seems to be growing with each week. And
it takes time. And when you think about even when Jez first came to the Cats, his very first year, as a true superstar already, a Coleman medal winner, as much as we wanted day one, Hawkins and Cameron together, this will be incredible.
Yeah.
The chemistry had to develop.
Yeah.
So if Hawk got the ball, he had to wheel and understand where Jez was going or vice versa. Took a little bit of time. They worked it out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Now it's a new combination again. So it's Jez and Shannon, and Jez is learning to understand where Shannon wants the ball. Shannon's learning where Jez is going to run and his running patterns, and it's going to grow every week.
And the extra challenge of it is that you're forwards. Like, you are dependent on delivery, on supply, and then once you get that, you have to find your rhythm and your synchronicity. But I was just happy for him for Shannon to finish. He's such a, he clearly works so hard, and he's, I think as he looks so developed, people forget that he's 22. So he's got plenty of time, and
there's something to be said that set shot goal kicking late in the game.
Yeah,
just how clutch to the crowd's going crazy. We know it's game on. The Dogs are good. Just go back, nail it. Everything settles down.
He does. Yeah, he's got a lovely rhythm to his kick, doesn't he? Really excited for them.
You talked about supply being important for the forwards.
Yeah.
There was a good bit of supply from Bailey Smith and Max Holmes in particular through the middle of the ground, but Grime Myers again, that connector, as we've often spoken about.
I was going to cramp on my left hammy then. Sorry, guys.
Pre-season works just
kicking in the pool yesterday.
Sean Manor again, really good.
Sean.
And just the options through the middle of the ground. Tom Atkins again, really good. The midfield connection now, you're just seeing it improve, and clearly Bailey and Max are the stars of that. But you don't beat teams like the Bulldogs if you've only got two stars playing well and nothing else. It's a depth thing where you can just be relentless through the middle of the ground, and the Cats were against a very good midfield.
Absolutely fantastic midfield, and I loved our ability to win the ball back at half back and then score quickly. I think Jez noted the space that he had to work with in his post-match, and some of those really penetrative, like 50-metre forward 50 entries into from Bailey, from Mitch Duncan at one stage, Brian, it just gives them a great opportunity to go 1v1. And actually, just to circle back to Jeremy, I was wondering when I was watching it, you mentioned his movement and athleticism. I'm watching him going, I wonder what is the difference between you kicking 7 and games where you're not as in form, in your opinion? Like, what's the difference between Jez at his best and Jez? I mean, he's hardly ever.
Well, I was going to say we probably so harshly judge based on goals that he kicks, and shots at goals. So you think, he's only kicked 1 or 2 today. Oh, geez, a bit out of form. He's kicked 7. See, he's back, but he's probably working just as hard in both.
Oh, no doubt.
I think I watch movement a lot. I sense a fluency to his running gator, and naturally at different parts of the season, you might have copped a nasty corky to a hip or around the knee or something like that, and you still find, especially someone like Jez who's so tough and so brave, he'll get through it, but he might be moving at 80% capacity as opposed to you haven't copped that knock 2 weeks earlier and you're moving it, you're never 100%, but you're moving at 90-95% capacity. And it's a big difference against other elite athletes. So I feel like he's got that little burst, that little jet to get on the lead. Because it makes everything else easy.
It makes the skill of the game so much easier when you have that metre more separation, doesn't it?
Yeah, and even his kicking fluency too, and that might lead into a little bit of feeling a bit better as opposed to being sore. He's just flushing the ball again beautifully.
I mean, reflecting myself the other day, I was like, why am I missing every kick slightly left? I was like, because my hammy is really tight. Like it just has that.
You pull off the kick a little bit.
Exactly. It just has the tiniest influence around how well you're kicking it. I've never kicked it as well as Jez, but it has an impact. You're right.
Yeah, and it's a funny thing. And athlete, we're talking about yourself with the pre-season training, the guys from the weekend's game. We're talking about elite level football athletes competing against other elite level football athletes. So if you've got a little twinge in your ankle and you can't extend through your plant foot, and you can't get as much range out of your kick for that reason, we're talking about an important 5% off where you don't know your kick from 50 metres out, it now drops short by a little bit, or your field kick doesn't quite have as much penetration on it, therefore the defender has a quarter of a second longer to get across and get a fingertip to it and cut the ball off. And so it breaks down. Things break down. That health is so incredibly important.
And the other thing on him, I think, they pondered in the commentary about how much of a laid-back character he was, and is he motivated by, I think Rory Lobb had a good game on him last year, and I think it's pretty evident how competitive he is. When the teams needed him in the last couple of weeks, he's piled on 13 goals. He wants to win.
Yeah, I think anyone who's done what he's done throughout his career and been as nice and relaxed off the field,
he's storing
trust me, he's
storing it up.
Fierce competitor when it comes on the field. Fantastic win. As we always say, do check the health update for anything out of Thursday night's game, but also keeping an eye potentially on anyone who may or may not be coming back into the team. Just one of the things on health really quickly.
It's wealth.
I know it's his second game back now. Jack Henry being back in that team is just so crucial.
He's just the best, isn't he? Yeah, I won't be articulate when I try and speak about how much we love him, but it's his influence on the players around him. I think we said this last week, as much as what a king he is in a 1v1 himself.
Yeah.
But what he does to allow other players to play their role, which with, taking the best player, but also I'm sure his voice and his instruction out there is a massive difference.
And I want to credit the individual here because he's the one who's lifted his game as well. But I think Jack being back has helped Mark O'Connor now playing at an even higher level than what he was previously. You can see the confidence of Mark, and he's clean. He's so clean with his hands and his marking. So he's elevated as well. And I just feel like a Jack being back there makes others more confident and bolder with
I know we're about to move on, but speaking about, Reece came back into the team, which meant it freed Blitz up a little bit. And on the subject of Blitz, going again next year.
Yes, I did see that news. That's great news.
It's great news. I mean, I'm sure we would all been like, well, surely. But significant. It was his 280th game on the weekend. It's the possibility of 300. And it's another one in a season for the mid-30-year-olds. It's another one for us.
And often we just gloss over or just go, Blitz, what a great story. But to think that he, premiership player, two-time best and fairest winner, All-Australian, and as you said, now going on another year, hopefully becoming the 8th player for the Cats to play 300 games.
I took a photo of the Addy just earlier, and it was saying, 280 of a possible 297.
Wow.
That's amazing. Amazing.
What a player. And still is. Not just what a player he was, he still very, very much is. We do need to move on because Nina Morrison is about to join us and have a chat. Just quickly, couple of not so good results, but it's okay. Geelong VFL lost to Footscray by 23 points on the weekend. Closey and Kruger were in the best, which was great. Good news, Cam Guthrie returned with a goal and 11 touches, getting a little bit of form, and also Jack Martin played a half, same as Guthers. Jack ended up with 18 touches and 8 marks, which is good to see them both running around.
It wasn't as much as I love watching everyone else. When I only remembered at halftime to put the stream on, I was disappointed not to have seen those two. But shout out to Closey. He was subbed on, obviously, in the fourth quarter and backed up on Saturday? Which day was it?
Friday.
Thank
you, producer Jakey.
The double prep.
Yes, yeah. It's that mental strength of just the resilience to go, okay, this isn't ideal. I want to be in the AFL team. I want to be playing 100% game time in the AFL, but I'm not. So therefore, I'll still produce quality performances. Unfortunately as well, the Geelong VFLW lost to Essendon by 40 points. Hayley Peck with 33 hit-outs, 19 touches. And Mel Staunton had 17 touches and 7 tackles. They were probably the best players. The front. Yeah. VFL round 10 is Williamstown v Geelong. Sunday, this one is. So that's at Williamstown's ground, 2:05 p.m. Let's hope it's not windy because it often is at Williamstown. And the VFLW taking on the Darebin Falcons on Saturday. This one is at 3:05 p.m. That's
my old mob.
Preston. Oh, yeah, you were a Falcon, weren't you?
I was a Falcon back in the day. We'll see how they go. I think they're going. I haven't been watching closely, but I know they knocked off the Blues the other day. So another tough challenge. Yes,
big challenge for the VFL and the VFLW. So if you just want more footy with the men's AFL team being interstate, go and check out the VFL and the VFLW. Let's take a break. Nina Morrison is next. Winning a three-peat isn't easy, but at GMHBA Health Insurance, that's exactly what we've done. By winning the 2024 CanStar Outstanding Value Hospital cover in Victoria 3 years running.
GMHBA have been caring for the Geelong community since 1934 and are proud supporters of the mighty Geelong Cats. Join at gmhba.com.au.
Welcome back to the Final Bell. It is great to have you with us. We are proudly presented by GMHBA. And as promised, we do have a special guest joining us right now, reigning AFLW Best and Fairest winner. Nina Morrison is here. Hello, Nina.
Hello, Lingy. Hello, Meg.
Hey, Neens.
Great to have you with us. I often ask Meg how pre-season's travelling. It's almost like a build into pre-season and then pre-season. So I'll ask you, how's everything going? Are you coping well with the training, feeling fit?
Yeah, it's good. It certainly is a long off season, and then you sort of feel like it just kind of rolls in. But it is always different once you get into proper pre-season and a bit more formalities around it and all the staff back in. So it's tracking well. We're a couple of weeks down now, so it'll be nice to sort of get the continuity and a few more numbers on the track over the next couple of weeks. But all is good.
And can you critique the skipper's form for us?
I knew when you had that look in your eye, I was like, he's going to ask a question about me, but you could you tell him, mate.
Tell it how it is. A few intercepts on the weekend.
It was last Tuesday and it was 5. But
she's looking good.
And you know what? I'll tell you when I wasn't looking good, Lingy. We did an extra off feet yesterday, and I was like, I don't. I'm full training, but I'll come along. And so 6:30 a.m. At the pool at Geelong College. She's a fish.
Super fish.
An absolute fish. Tell us about your lung capacity needs. Obviously, it's the strength of your game.
I like the off-feet stuff, so it's good to do something a bit different and to be able to get the conditioning in other ways. So thank you, Meg. I do like the water.
No, good on you, mate. Part of our pre-season, obviously, we've gone through a bit of change. Do you want to touch on, there have been some announcements about people that have come back into our program and how that's felt?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got, kind of 3 key changes over the off-season. So Dom has come back in to our program as head of women's football. So that's a really exciting addition. Dom was obviously here in the first couple of years as dietitian and PDM within our women's team. So to have her back in the program is just such an exciting addition, and I think will just set us on such a great track for the next couple of years, and her leadership in this space will be so awesome. Renee's another one that's come back into the program, so obviously one of our inaugural players and just such a great club person. So I think that we all sort of wanted Renee to be around as soon as she sort of announced that she was retiring a couple of years ago. So to have her back in the program and in the PDM role is just so perfect. And I think that already she's just gotten so much positive feedback about how much of a legend she is and how much work she just gets done. And so, she's a great addition. And then the last one is Tennille. So she's taken on the S&C role, and to have her here, especially in a full-time capacity, I think has been a great addition. And so, 3 really great women at the helm to lead us forward this year.
You're no doubt always trying to elevate your own game, while still, as an entire team, you're trying to elevate the team, obviously, to chase that premiership glory. How are you going about it? What's the next level you're trying to take to? Where's the little advantage you're trying to grab to maybe jump ahead of the rest of the competition, both from an individual perspective but team as well? Yeah,
I think for me over the last couple of years I've sort of been playing more predominantly as that inside mid role, and I think that continuing to develop my craft in that space is probably how I want to continue to develop my game. And we've got Tom come in this year. Tom Atkins is our one of our midfield coaches, so to have him as a resource has been incredible. And so he's obviously having another great season so far. So to be able to draw experiences from him and learn from him about the way he goes about it, I would like to think that we sort of play a similar-ish style midfield. So, to have him as a resource has been awesome. And then, collectively as a group, we're always looking to make gains this year. We've got a big focus on sort of winning the ball back mentality and a real hunger and contest. So, as Dan says, like every team's probably got that in them, so that's not giving too much away. But I think that hunger and contest is probably where we'll try and look to elevate again this year.
You sort of took the question right out of my mouth about Tommy Atkins, incredible season he's having, and I often see you watching his vision for tips and tricks. I definitely feel guilty of sort of exclusively watching the defence when I watch the boys play. And speak about it too much on this podcast. So if you could give us a midfielder's take, like what do you look at when you watch them, and footy in general, but our men's team and Tom's contribution as opposed to the other midfielders?
Yeah, I think that having insight with Tom and sort of going through his clips beforehand, he talks about that sort of, I guess, defensive sort of starting point and working off your player, but then as soon as the ball goes up, it's your responsibility to win the ball as well. So I think we're probably similar in that sense of that, more often than not, it's a back shoulder or side-by-side starting point, and then once the ball goes up, it's winning the footy yourself. And obviously Tom's known for his tackle pressure and defensive intent, and so they're certainly watching the men's play at the moment, sort of looking at their midfield stoppage setups and the way they go about it. But he's just such a great one to watch.
It's amazing that the men's team, they've been involved in some of the best games of the year as far as scoring ability, high level skills, and consistently scoring 100+ points. What are you noticing from that group as far as, and maybe focus particularly midfield, but what do you notice with their ball movement? Why are we able to be such an efficient scoring team and involved in those high skill games?
It's a great question, Lingy. I think that, if you've got teams where you're able to sort of take the ball forward from stoppage, that always helps as well. And so if you're able to get midfielders who then are involved in attack, and obviously you've got players like Bailey who have come into the team, and it's been so awesome to watch him this year. I think that we can take a lot of tips from his game, I guess, in terms of the way that you sort of can go fast from mark situations, and I think that he's a great example of one that just gets the ball and takes the game on. And if you're able to, play on off the mark and then let the game come to you and sort of drive it off the line, or players like him and Max and that have that running ability and power from stoppage or around the ground, I think, it just adds another dimension that helps you break the game open a bit more.
Yeah, I agree. Now we're going to turn into a discussion between you and me about how the team's going and what we're looking to do. But I think that's been, when we look at the similarities and what you can draw from the men's game, but then understanding that ours is different. There are a different number of people on the ground and different skill sets. But I think, taking territory at the right time, as you say, and using that drive is important. And I've realised that's just a statement, right, more than anything else. What did I have for you? So at this time of year, we inevitably get asked in the media, and this is going to be the same. Who are you excited about? Now, I will say that I gave Sienna one of the all-time great raps last week. Who are you enjoying the work of, whether it's experienced players or
I actually was thinking on Saturday as well. I warmed up a bit late, and so I was watching the first kicking drill from the sideline, and I was looking at Sienna and thought,
you're going to double down on this, aren't you?
I was looking at Sienna and thought, she's just going to have a great year. She is going to have a great year. She's a great kick. She's just so composed. And back that statement until she's going to have a great year.
Yeah, she is.
So definitely excited for Sienna and her development. I think that Bella's one that I'm really excited for this year, her second year of the comp, at Geelong. And I think that you sort of, just everyone has said that you feel a bit more settled in your second year. And the way she's training at the moment on the track and, just looks really composed and knows her strengths. And I think that, she'll just be better for having a year in the system at Geelong, and excited for what she can do this year in the midfield.
Prompt you on a couple as well. We've had some acquisitions in the ruck space. How are you seeing them? They're obviously going to be pretty important to your game.
Yeah, it's super exciting to have Piper and Katie come in. Obviously, we had Piper coming in as a train-on last year, and I think that her what she showcased even as a train-on last year in that back end of the season was pretty impressive, and coming up against the rucks that we had at the time, obviously is why she's on the list at the moment. So I think both of them will just bring a really competitive competitive nature. They've both got a real desire to learn. I think that that's something that a lot of people have noticed, that they ask questions. They're not afraid to sort of put themselves out there and try and get better. They're both obviously very new to footy. So, their appetite to learn and get better is exciting.
In the last couple of years, we've seen little glimpses of the evolution of as the AFLW game just keeps getting better and better and better, and the different types of athletes that come into the game combined with incredible skill. Aisling Maloney's obviously been a favourite of mine and ours, no doubt, but she's with the height and the athleticism, the ability to kick, the skills, and it seemed to explode even more so last season. I was reassured by Meg that she's definitely coming back, which makes me very, very happy. Just a player like her and her skill set in the game and that advantage the team can get, it must be pretty special when you can see somebody at that height move the way that she does and play the way she does.
Yeah, she's just such an exciting athlete. She's my grandpa's favourite player too, so give him a little shout out. But yeah, to have her in our side, we sort of spoke earlier about players who can take the game on and break lines, and she's just someone that is so exciting to watch in the way that she moves, and as you said, her athleticism is crazy. So I think that we're very blessed to have someone like her in our team. It's pretty easy to forget that she's only played, less than 25 maybe games of AFLW. So she's only going to get better as well, which is exciting. But she's also just a great energy and great person to have around. So I think that she equally brings so much of that to the side as well. And so to have her amongst the group is pretty exciting. Just
for my interest, is she still playing Gaelic while back in Ireland?
Yes, she is. Yeah. She's still playing for Tip. I've got to get you on. As Nina was answering that question, I was like, you know what? We've got to get Lingy on to Aisling's TikTok. She's like taken that up in the off season, and it's hilarious because she's a farmer, and she's farm fit. That's all I can say. We highlight her athleticism. She puts the 2.5s on the bar in the gym, and yet it's unbelievable. I was actually Lexi Gregor's one of our brand new draftees, a new key defender, and I was trying to describe what it's like to defend her, and I can't really, but I'm just like, Lexi, that'll be over to you when she gets here. So
your first step is to get me onto TikTok.
I know. I know. I'm with you. I'm only half on, but I'll send you some links.
I think the girls were giving her a bit of stick because she'd set up a home gym back in Ireland. There was a bit of commentary around what she was going to be using that for.
So good. People are like, how tall is she? I'm like, probably she stood up straight. She'd be 6 foot, but she's about 5'9". She just lopes around.
Nina, we've got to let you go in a second. Just if you could forecast the season ahead. Clearly the Cats are going to be right there, so I won't put you on the spot with that. Have you had a chance to glance across the other teams in the competition? Who continues to be the standard bearers as far as the AFLW comp are looking forward to the season ahead?
I feel like it's always the sort of same few at the top in terms of Adelaide, Brisbane, North Melbourne, us obviously. Yeah. But it'll be interesting. I feel like it's always such an unknown, to be honest, at this time of year and within the AFLW in general. It's the sort of case that you're never that far off it, but then any team can sort of shoot up at the same time as well. So it'll be interesting to see how some of the younger sides go, whether they keep on making some gains. I think that Port's got a pretty exciting list, and obviously we're into finals last year, and I think that they've got some really young developing talent. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but I'm sure the rocks that have been at the top will continue to be there.
We'll be there. Well, let's hope the Cats are right there amongst it. Nina, thank you so much for joining us for a chat. Good luck for the continuation of pre-season training. Make sure you keep yelling at Meg and tell her to...
Make sure you keep kicking it to me.
Of course. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
it. Thanks, Nina. Winning a three-peat isn't easy, but at GMHBA Health Insurance, that's exactly what we've done. By winning the 2024 CanStar Outstanding Value Hospital Cover in Victoria 3 years running.
GMHBA have been caring for the Geelong community since 1934 and are proud supporters of the mighty Geelong Cats. Join at gmhba.com.au.
Welcome back to the final bell, proudly presented by GMHBA. So good Nina's now gone, but great to have Nina in for a chat there.
Yeah, she goes all right.
Clearly someone who sees the game really well, loves footy, still very, very young.
Yeah.
But feels like someone who's going to be involved in football in some way for a long, long time.
Yeah, I think we all hope so. I think she hopes so. It's crazy to think that she's got another 10, if not more, seasons ahead of her if that's what she wants. But it's funny because you see your teammates in all their silliness and various stages of maturity, and mic and camera on, and I'm ready to deliver. So yeah, she speaks very well, and is setting herself and us up for a good season.
Fantastic. Let's hope she does. You need to have the fun and the silliness. It's a long, hard pre-season and season if you're not. But knowing the moments when to relax and
no doubt. And it was like, just have fun. It's it's very important, but it's not something, you got to put some effort into it as well. You got to bring energy, and she does that.
Certainly does. No, great that she could come in and have a chat with us. Let's start looking ahead towards this week's game. Don't forget the full health update will be coming out today. We record this of a Tuesday morning, so check out the Cats website or any of the social media channels there to be able to check out that health update. A few of the fan questions might start alluding to this week's game, but we will get to a couple of questions. Jessie has one that wants us to look back at the season so far. The Kaji Greaves medal leader right now. Meg? Bailey?
It's probably Bailey. I think Axe would be up there. I think,
good call.
There were games when Bailey was getting praised and was dominating rightful praise. And the coach was talking about, they can't do that without the contribution of Axe. So I think he'd be up there for sure.
Is Tom Atkins still about 4,500 times the second place in the AFL on tackles?
I remember being like, what game is it, 11? I think he's had 109 tackles, so one short of 10 a game. And we were celebrating 10 a game at round 5, saying no one had ever done that, or 4, and he's still doing it.
Wow. Yeah. He's just... the ferocity, the desire to, and desire combined with skill as well. His body positioning.
Everyone should be out. People like, that's just effort. I mean, it is, but there's, if so, everyone would do it.
Yeah, no. See, I don't fully believe in that whole everybody can do it if you just have enough desire and want. No, you still need. You still need athleticism. You still need
to be able to read the play.
Read the play. Yep,
you could be running around like a headless chook and trying to tackle everyone and missing, and just completely out of sync. Yeah.
Jezza would be coming home like a freight train right now.
I'd say a few votes in recent weeks. Yep.
So that might be the top few. Jessie.
We didn't mention. We actually didn't mention Max's goal. What did you think?
Oh yes, yeah, good shout out. I was so happy he went for the goal.
Were you?
Because he had
some options.
He had a little option on it too, but almost.
But there wasn't anyone absolutely free at the top of the goal square.
No. It would have been a little hit up, and it would have been a set shot from 40 maybe, 35. Exactly. But for the theatre of it, now I'm biased because our seats were on that side. I was going to say, you would have had that part.
Yeah.
And I was screaming. My kids were laughing at me after it. They're like, "Oh, Dad, you're into that one." I was like,
and you give me memo feedback.
Nobody should ever record my vocals during a game. I have clear favourites, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Clear favourites.
Oh, so you're like, Maxi, yes. Ollie Dempsey, definitely a mark. Definitely inside the boundary line.
100%.
I was... We'll have to find another high to end on, but I was a bit shook when he missed that shot late. I was like, that's so out of character.
Come on, Ollie.
Just so, which is a credit to him that's...
I basically... It's not... child abuse. I basically start hitting my son Henry on the arm when Ollie Dempsey gets anywhere near the footy, and he's like, "Yeah, I get it, Dad. You like him." Okay. I'm like, sorry, it's Ollie.
That's great. Okay, sorry. Forward.
Let's focus. I'm getting pumped up right now. Actually, this is perfect for Leanne's question. How do you get fired up for a game? I just watch Ollie Dempsey highlights.
Watch highlights. Watch highlights.
No, Leanne. Back when I was playing, I wasn't one to get fired up for the way you maybe are thinking about it, Leanne. The Hollywood type fired up.
Yeah.
my music I would listen to driving up to a Melbourne game would not be classed as fire up music.
That's right.
A bit of Simon and Garfunkel.
I've got a funny one for you there, yeah.
Xavier Rudd, or a bit of Missy Higgins, one of our favourites. Very chilled. I would have a really low-key build-up. I would be focused mentally, starting to think about what I need to do, getting around to teammates, just talking about specifics of stuff. But the whole fired up thing, that wasn't something I really wanted to do. I needed a really intense focus, but with a real calmness as well, so I could just be ready to explode.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar, I suppose. It's funny because the environment tries to pump you up a lot, and some players love that, bump bags, loud music. My nervous system is definitely more of I need to just come down a little bit pre-game and I think rhythm's really important to me, so I like having lots of kicks for the 5 I'll do in a game, but to feel like that's really locked in. So I try and hit up one of the best kicks in the team or in the coaching staff and make that happen. This is probably I know we've got a ritual question under there, but that's probably more where I'm at, but I see others get fired up. My housemate had a good old laugh at me once because, to your point about pump up music, I reckon it was an evening game or something. It was afternoon on the couch, and I put on A Star Is Born, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
Bit of a fire up movie though.
I said, "I'll just watch the first half hour. It's fine." First half hour is incredible.
I watched that first half hour regularly.
Yeah.
I cut it at the point where that slimy manager gets involved.
Oh yeah.
And I get so angry. Nicole asked me, she's like, "You can't get so angry at a character in a movie." I'm like, "You just ruin everything."
Yeah.
Anyway.
But how good's the the first
Yep. Next one, actually, let's roll on to that. Yep. Caitlin, weirdest teammate pre-game ritual. So Caitlin wants to know, you said you've got your bit of a pre-game ritual. You go and grab a teammate. Is there any one of your teammates who is a little bit left field when it comes to a pre-game ritual they have to do?
No, I don't feel like any of mine have got anything on what some of yours have reportedly had.
Yeah. Well, they were all different. I love, and it's not so much a ritual, I love that each player needs a different build-up. They're all ready to go at the start and be competitive animals, all in different ways. I know I've told this in the past, but Gaz Jr. and Stokesy and these guys, they would play footy golf around the MCG change rooms. They'd pick a door or a bin and you got 2 shots to get that one in and all that. And so it was just this fun game they'd play. But they were competitors when they hit the field. Tom Harley would be stripped, ready to go, trying to bump the actual brick wall, the foundations of the MCG. And I swear in his mind, he thinks he's going to knock it over at some stage.
That's hilarious.
Harry Taylor would be...
With padding or no padding?
No, just it's like, what am I watching? Harry Taylor would have the tennis balls juggling off the wall and that super fast reflex type stuff.
Yeah, I probably want to be that person. I've never made it happen. But.
Yeah, no, Darren Milburn, I think I've told in the past, he'd be the fitness staff would have to say to him, "Hey, we're running out on the MCG in 1 minute." He's like, "Yeah, cool, all right, I'll get changed, no worries." That
actually, if I were to witness that, my own anxiety would be. Just do you have do you? What are your football dreams? Do you still have football dreams?
As in playing?
As in playing?
Oh, no. My dreams are now purely just I want to watch premierships with the kids and jump up and down and be idiots.
No, but to give you some idea, and we should have had this conversation before, Nina, because we compare notes on this stuff, but mine are exclusively the team is running out and I am stuck in the stands because I can't access my football boots. It's like I can't get them and the game's starting and I'm supposed to be out there and I just can't. Like something is physically stopping me from. So, psychs out there, you can psychoanalyze that one, but that's what mine are. So that's an insight into if I had the Milburns of the world, just not ready, I'd break out into hives. Whereas Nina has dreams about, having 13 kicking 5 on grand final day. I'm like, that must be nice.
That's a good dream. I like that one. I think what I had to do as either captain or vice captain, and certainly Bomber Thompson, because he was cut more from probably mine and Tom Harley's cloth of like, let's be ready when the time's to go. we had to learn to relax with the different players' preparations and understand that that's how Dasher had to prepare for a game. Josh Hunt wanted his he was one of the early ones to bring in the headphones and have his music just pumping, and he was in his own little world of music. Honestly, I used to go in, I think I've said this before too, but I'd sit in the medical room with the doctors and physios.
Yeah, I love a chat there.
Talking surfing and golf or whatever they were interested in. And I used to get half annoyed when somebody dared to come in and actually need medical, like, hey, can I get my back warmed up, or I need a strapping, or I need to see about this. I'm like, hang on, I was just hearing a good story about his round of golf he played the other day.
It's because there's the individual stuff that's important, but there is the sort of intangible energy of the collective in a pre-game that for whatever reason, sometimes it's right where it needs to be and sometimes it's just unders, and it's hard to grasp and hard to be consistent with that.
Yeah, no, good call. Mariana says this one, if you were stranded on an island, which teammate would you take? To be stranded on an island completely by myself and away from all of my teammates would be just bliss.
Just bliss.
It'd be magnificent.
Yeah.
I loved them all, and most of them, if not all of them, drove me absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. It's a small crew, I would say. A fellow backliner.
Backliner.
I won't. In case they listen, I won't say which one.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say you've still got to play with them. I no longer have to. I only have to see them in reunions and every now and then socially, and I don't mind the fact that I'm saying I don't want to be with any of them. Yeah. On interstate trips, I was the one. I'd just bring a book every time on the plane, and I sat and read from the moment I sat down to the moment we were able to get off the plane. I did not want to engage in conversation with my teammates.
My goodness me, that's me, but it's tough.
I'd had enough of them by that stage.
Yeah, I finished the book over the weekend. I'll give you the review later.
Good. I always like recommendations. Yeah. This one's going to lead in perfectly to this Sunday's game. I get that right, against the West Coast Eagles. It's a bit of a celebration. I know we've had a huge milestone just gone with Mitch Duncan's 300th, and we're halving that, but it's still a wonderful milestone. 150 games for Jack Henry, and we've got one of our listeners wanting to know the best Jack Henry moment. He has snuck forward and kicked.
That's got to be the
big
one.
Goal.
I feel like I'm being disloyal to all his defensive acts, but going forward in that Richmond game in 2022 and kicking the match winner, marking in a marking contest where Jeremy was gone back with the flight. So I think that was the real feat, and then slotting it, that's probably my favourite.
It was pretty cool, wasn't it? I mean, given he's taken that many intercept marks and played so many crucial defensive roles and everything like that, but it's still the glory of kicking a goal.
It's still the best.
That's the reality of footy. It is his 150th game this Sunday against the West Coast Eagles, playing at Optus Stadium. So it's 5:20 p.m. Perth time, which makes it 7:20 p.m. over here.
Only the 2 hours at the moment.
Yes, we are. So a different time slot, given it's a Sunday night for us to watch over here. So it's good. We get the whole weekend out of the way. For me, it'll be getting the kids to bed, and then I'm just going to sit down on the couch and sorry, Nicole, but we'll catch up on Monday. I'm going to watch the footy.
Doesn't.
She floats in and out. She likes the Cats, absolutely. But
Did she go for the Cats before she met you?
No, she wasn't a big footy supporter, but actually, funnily enough, timing, like the West Coast Eagles. Okay. And it wasn't because of probably wasn't because of the football.
Because of Ben Cousins.
She liked Ben Cousins. She loved Dean Kemp. You remember Dean Kemp? I remember Dean Norm Smith medalist of 1994 against the Cats, unfortunately.
Okay.
But no, not a massive footy fan. So you might tune in because it's West Coast versus Geelong, but she will probably take the opportunity in the first half in particular to go and watch something on Netflix, one of her shows, and then maybe come in to check the result. On paper, it looks like a mismatch given where the Cats are travelling and the Eagles are travelling. However, it's still in Perth. It's still against a team with some quality players running around in it. It almost presents a different mindset challenge for the team to, hey, this is still AFL football. We're playing against a team. Go over, be professional, get the job done.
Yeah, I really don't have much more to add than that. I feel like it's been we've had some disappointing losses this year, but I think it's a luxury of following this team that, you know, you can generally back in the professionalism and what's the word I'm looking for? Ruthlessness of that's required to get a job done against a team that's not where you yourselves hope to be come season's end.
And it's you've got to assure that you get these wins when you can get them. You can't let them slip. You can't bring yourself down to a different level. You have to get it, because otherwise it just wastes some of the other work that you've done. And you know how hard it is to have done that work initially. And as I said, there's still some very, very good players running around. So it'll be interesting to watch the way that the team attacks this one. As I said, check out the health update for who may or may not be coming back in, or anything from Thursday night. There wasn't too much from Thursday night, was there? No. Health-wise? So
that's why old Ted had to play a full VFL game.
Yeah. Nice.
Love it. It's a nice change.
Nice, absolutely. We will be back next week to talk about that. I think we might be doing it on a Wednesday morning, so might be slightly later than what you normally get it, but rest assured Meg and I will catch up. I do hope we get a Meg's memo from sitting on the couch. You don't go over to the Perth?
No, I don't go to Perth. Okay, no, cool. I don't. I love Perth, but no. So we'll get a home-based Meg's memo. Yeah. Excellent. Yep. Thank you, Meg. Good to see you. Thanks, Lingy. Thanks for listening, as always.
As always, we will be back next week.